Hey, this is Jennifer with TheWookie Natural, and this I'm talking about the second part of my 3-part or 4-part series, talking about now you decided to get microlocs, what should you do next? So in the first part, I talked about when you decided, just check out that video. I'm in the same outfit. I have the same type of thumbnail. So just look out for that video, and I will post it here in the cards as well. The second thing you need to do, and this is more detailed, you guys. So if you want to sit down and take some notes and talk about this, write some notes. The first thing I would say is have a plan. So have a plan as to what kind of locks you want. And if you are already natural, you have know what your hair is. You need to know if your hair is fine, if it's coarse, meaning a big strand of hair, if you're fine, meaning you have a small strand of hair, or if you're medium and you have a medium strand of hair. Then you need to know what kind of density do you have. Do you have high density? Do you have medium density, or do you have low density? And what that means is, if we took a little piece of your scalp, how much hair would be in that little piece of your scalp? Would it be a few hairs? That would be low density. Would it be just enough, medium density? And then would it be a lot of hair in that little patch of hair? So that's how you would determine density. You may want to consider curl pattern. I don't subscribe to the typing system, meaning 3C, 4C, all that. I find that on social media is misrepresented. So I like to say, is your hair straight, curly? Is it wavy? Like, is it straight? Is it wavy like a wave? Is it curly like a curl? Is it coily like a coil? Is it like a spring, which is even tighter? Or does it have a Z pattern, which means that it's more tightly coiled? So think about that, and then think about how you want to start your locks. So just having a plan. Is it going to be sister locks, or is it going to be microlocs? Sister Locks is a trademark brand. It has specialized technicians, specialized grid pattern, specialized everything, and it's all trademarked, and it was started by Dr. Joanne Cornwell in the 90s. She went to Africa, saw how they were doing here and there, and developed a system based on that to come up with Sister Locks. It is a trademark brand. Then you have microlocs. That too is also a brand, because there is a lady that started microlocs. Her name is, I don't know her name, but she's on Microloc Mastery, and she has started a microloc brand. But with that being said, many people who start their locks that are small call them microlocs, because I don't think she has trademarked it or to the same level as Sister Locks. So there's still people out there using that. With that being said, there are different types of microlocs. I've come across Bell microlocs. Tiny Locks is another one. And a few others. I can't think of all of their names right now. And they all have different techniques and how they start their locks. But regardless, here is my little diagram to explain the difference between, don't mind that, to explain the difference between locks, microlocs, and sister locks. So locks are the general term for your traditional locks, your wigs, and so forth. Then we have microlocs, which are smaller versions. And then in that subset is sister locks, because sister locks can be small too, and they are a type of microloc. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that so you have an idea of what you're getting into. So you have to know that if you decide, whatever you decide, then you have to decide who are going to do your locks. So with sister locks, a sister locks trained professional has to do them. Otherwise, they're not called sister locks. But you can get a sister lock-like look with microlocs. And so then you can decide whether I want a professional to do it, an amateur, or I'm going to do it myself. I have been out in these microlock streets, and I have seen some horror stories on YouTube talking about how they wanted microlocs, and they were told they were going to get sister locks or microlocs, and somebody messed them up. So hopefully this video will, if you watch this video in its entirety and you follow my advice that I put in here, then you'll know how to avoid those pitfalls. So, like I said, if you're going to get a professional to do it, understand you're going to pay the most amount of money. If you're going to get an amateur to do it, you're going to pay less money. If you're going to get a DIY to do it, of course, you're going to pay the least amount of money because you're doing it yourself or you're getting a friend to do it. But just know that the accountability of you doing it yourself, I feel you can take more responsibility when you're doing it yourself. But I'll get to that later. So the next thing is, when are you getting them? I will have a plan to set aside a couple of days, plan for a consultation, and then maybe a couple of days or weeks later, you can come in and get your locks. Definitely do not skip out on a consultation, and I'll talk about that later. But just plan your day as to when you know you're going to get them. You may need to have 1 or 2 days to install. You may need to deep condition, strengthen. I would color my hair before getting them. You need to decide on your grid pattern and the size locks. And then once you get to your consultation, your loctician may say, no, you cannot get that many locks based on your hair type, on your hair style. So maybe you can't get that. So then you have to say, why are you getting them? You have to determine your level of commitment. And knowing your why will help you get through the bad times. And when I say bad times, I mean it loosely. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, what am I going to do with my hair? I don't like it today. But you quickly get over it. So that's what I mean about that. Also, the last thing you have to do is manage your expectations. You have to realize that your locks are unique. The frizz will be real. It can take up to a full year to lock, and you need to be on a schedule and to understand that locks are low maintenance, not no maintenance. And just as a plan B, I would know how to do these things for myself. So if you get a retie, just know how to do that for yourself. And that way you can mitigate any problems down the road with availability of locticians, because sometimes they are not available when you need them. So just keep these things in mind, and I'll go into the next part of the series, which is, what do you do when you do get to the consultation? What are some questions you could be expected to be asked, and what questions you should ask of your loctician? So stay tuned for the next part.